Do you agree that Imaz seems a bit more hungry for victory?
No. I just want to just put that to bed. You know, yes, this for us was a team that we've obviously everybody knows we rested a hell of a lot of players. It was the only time that we could rest our players. Our players needed some rest. They needed to recuperate. We go back now with every one of our players on individual plans, getting them ready for England and then ready for the World Cup. In terms of that, every time we played, we wanted to win. So Shoaib Malik showed as much hunger to win as Imad Wasim did, for sure.
And of course, the positives. What did you say about Abi or any other positives you can see?
Yeah, well, I think we got 500s through the series, which is a really good return. And if I, brutally honest, we found a young quick bowler and we found another batsman. And that is a massive positive for us going forward. We found a batsman who can play one-day cricket and test cricket for us, and we found a bowler who can clock it at nearly 150. That's been the massive positive, the best outcome that we've had from this series.
So close to the World Cup, what kind of impact will such a result have on the morale of the team?
No, look, we go out to win every time we play, without a doubt. We've rested. We've got 8 of our top players not here. Again, as I have to say, the morale takes a dent when you lose. It was a calculated risk that we took, though, because it was the only time we could rest our players. Our players had played 5 months of cricket. Most of them had little niggles that they needed fixing. They're all on individual programs. Some are at the NCA, some are resting at home. And when we get back on Tuesday, we start individual work with all the players that rested. So the players that have rested will come back really strong. And I think it was pretty clear and significant. And I've spoken to our guys a hell of a lot through the tour. And I've been very proud of the effort and very proud of the work ethic of the new guys that have come into our setup, because they've never been exposed to these standards before, and they've had to adapt fairly quickly. A lot of them go away now with a lot of positives. They know what it's like to play international cricket. They know what the standards are within our environment, and they know what they have to be at in order to keep their places. So in terms of morale, yeah, we all are incredibly disappointed. We're incredibly disappointed because we're a very proud cricket nation and we represent 210 million people. But I think there's a bigger picture. The bigger picture is we've got a World Cup to win. We've got to be playing the World Cup final on July the 14th. And what was the best way for us to get there? The best way for us to get there was to have our major players that are going to play significant impact in that World Cup rested on their programs, so that we've got them fitter, faster, stronger come the start of the World Cup.
Making a tough series for you, we saw that you remained perish throughout the series. And could I ask you that before the World Cup, if morale boosting and morale going down after the series 5-0, and you were talking about the loving nation of the cricket, they're still asking that what's happening 5-0, and definitely you aren't happy with this performance. What next? How would you plan for the World Cup? And second, people are criticizing that why Abid was not in the side.
Let me answer the first one, and I think I answered the first question, the first part of that in the last question. We don't like losing. There's a bigger picture out there, though. The bigger picture is having our best first choice team fit and ready to go for May 31. May 31, we play the West Indies at Nottingham. We've got a tour of England we leave Lahore on the 22nd of April. We've got a hell of a lot of cricket before that. The bigger picture was to have our major players not playing in this series. That was a decision we took, which I still believe is clearly the right one. Abid Ali, again, there was a little bit of a queue. The next guys in the queue were Shan Masood and Imam was playing. Imam was the one guy from the last first choice ODI team that we had. Imam and Imad were the only 2 players that were playing. Imam picked up a virus. He couldn't move his neck for some reason, I'm not sure. But he picked up a virus that opened the door for Abid Ali. Abid Ali since he arrived in our group, worked exceptionally well. He did extra training. He realized where he was, where the rest of the players were. He realized what our standards were. And he did everything possible to meet those standards over the last couple of weeks. I can't fault his work ethic. I can't fault his intensity. And I'm very, very happy with the skill he showed when he got his opportunity with the bat.
It can sometimes be hard to know how much to read into these series in terms of the World Cup. I suppose from an Australian point of view, how well do you think they're travelling? Are they a team capable of winning the World Cup?
Yeah, I think they are. I definitely think they are. I think they're travelling really well. I think there's, you know, all the sort of the final jigsaw sort of parts are all coming together nicely there for Justin. I think Australia look a very, very good side. A very good side. They will be a threat at the World Cup, no doubt. You know, you get Warner and Smith back, you put Stark back into that lineup and Cummins back, and it's pretty formidable. As I've always said, I think there's up to 7 teams that can win the World Cup, and that's going to make the World Cup so intriguing and such a good cricket spectacle, I think. Australia are travelling well, though.
And just one sort of individual question in terms of Usman. You know, you obviously know what he was like a fair few years back. Are you surprised as well with just how much he's developed, particularly in the one-day format?
I'm not surprised because Usman's a class player. He always was a class player. He's going to score a hell of a lot of runs for Australia. He seems to have taken his game to the next level. I mean, he's in the top batsman in world cricket now, and that's not surprising because he always had that ability.
Mickey, I assume the young Mickey you're talking about was Mohammed Hassan.
Yeah.
Just how different is he as a prospect as an 18-year-old compared to any other 18-year-old you've seen before, and where does he come around in terms of World Cup players?
Yeah, look, he's going to be pretty close. We're pretty lucky in that question. We had an 18-year-old a year ago in Shaheen Shah Afridi. So Shaheen and him will take the same path just a year apart from each other. And I'm really excited about Mohammed Hassan. There's a lot of work to do with him, a hell of a lot of work to do. He needs to get fitter, without a doubt. But he's never been in any program before. He's got to work on his fielding, without a doubt. But raw pace, raw talent, he has in abundance, and that's pretty exciting. He's got everything, and it's he is going to be very, very exciting for us.
Vicky, resting 6 key players, 7th one was injured, going down 5-0. Wasn't it sort of disregarding an opponent like Australia, whom we have not beaten since 2002?
No. We've got to do what we can do, Shahid. And all we can do is prepare ourselves as best we can. Had we played our full side and the other 7, if they played and they had fatigue, we go to England now. It came down to us having to either rest them for this series or rest them for the PSL. That's where we were with our players. That wouldn't have made any difference. That wouldn't have made any difference because we got on the road in September the 12th, Asia Cup. We went all the way through to South Africa with 4 days break. We then finished the South African series, flew straight from the South African series to the PSL. Finished the PSL and 2 days later came here. So there was no gap to rest those players. Whether we rested them for Zimbabwe would have made no difference at all, because that wasn't in the last 5 months of cricket that we've had.
Yeah, Mickey, a word about Yasir Shah, because the thing is with Mohammed Hafiz injured and a few expectations that in England conditions you might need a good wrist spinner, and with Shah is there. But the 5 matches that Yasir Shah played, how would you rate? Are you satisfied with him, or you still look for anyone from outside or something?
Yasir got better and better as the series went on. I think, as I said, I think I said in one of the press conferences I did, maybe just before Abu Dhabi, that he needs to challenge both edges. In fact, both our spinners at that time needed to challenge both edges, and he did that by showing his googly earlier after we had our chat. So the minute he shows his googly earlier, he becomes a different kettle of fish, and that was so important for him. Just like Imad Wasim, who then showed that he was a genuine spinner. That created the doubt, and he started challenging both edges. So I think he got better and better as the series progressed.
Vicky, you guys played very well and hard like that. You guys on the losing side. Openers look solid, middle order also. But the main problem from the first one till this one, the finisher. You don't have the good finisher. What are you thinking about that space?
Yeah, that's a really good question, because that's one thing we aren't blessed with. We need to work on. I've got my eye on 3 players that we really need to work on to fulfill that role. And again, as I've said, over the next while in our preparation phase, leading into the England tour and through the England tour, because in essence the England tour is going to be a training camp for us. And we're going to working back everything. All our programs work back now from May 31, which is the first day of first game at the World Cup. And in that time, we have to get our 3 guys that I've got an eye on up to speed in that regard.